Imagine waking up in a world where no one really thinks anymore. People speak, but they never pause to reflect. They repeat, but they never question. They agree to any idea. They believe everything. Not because it makes sense, but because the TV told them to, because the so-called celebrities said they are good. This isn't a distant dystopia. This is now. Critical thinking is under open attack. Most disturbingly, people don't even notice it happening. It's being eroded quietly, drowned in noise, buried under endless opinions, softened by convenience. From the classroom to the living room, society trains people to consume without questioning. Schools reward memorization over reasoning, teaching students to repeat facts, not interrogate them. Textbooks emphasize answers over understanding, exams reward recall over reflection. Later, the media amplifies the same pattern. Sound bites, headlines, and viral content are designed for immediate consumption, not analysis. Slowly, subtly, the mind adapts, not to think deeper, but to swallow faster. Professor Noam Chomsky describes how media acts like a filter on public thought, shaping not just what people hear, but what counts as acceptable to think. Lively debate can exist, but only within boundaries carefully drawn by repetition, framing, and omission. People may feel like they're thinking for themselves, while the most important assumptions go unquestioned. We live in an age of infinite information, yet shrinking understanding. Every screen feeds us answers before we've learned how to ask questions. Algorithms decide what matters. Headlines tell us what to feel, and the data shows it. Students' critical thinking is declining, and most rely too heavily on technology rather than thinking for themselves. At the end of this video, we will discover the most urgent truth of all about critical thinking. This video may challenge everything you thought you knew, without you even realizing it. And once you see it, there's no going back. This is exactly where collective stupidity begins. Not stupidity as a lack of intelligence, but as the absence of resistance. When people stop interrogating ideas, when thinking is outsourced, when beliefs are adopted like fashion trends. A society like this doesn't collapse overnight. It decays politely. It smiles, nods, and moves on. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just happening to students or the uneducated. It spreads far beyond classrooms, into workplaces where questioning authority is labeled negative, into media where complexity is punished and simplicity goes viral, into relationships where honest conversations are replaced with safe cliches. The moment critical thinking becomes inconvenient, it becomes optional. And when it becomes optional, most people drop it. Why? Because thinking independently comes with a cost. Questioning the consensus risks isolation. Dissent risks ridicule. Silence feels safer, so people choose comfort over clarity. They trade intellectual independence for social acceptance, and without realizing it, they become participants in something far larger than themselves, a collective agreement not to think too deeply. This is how misinformation spreads without resistance. This is how shallow narratives dominate serious conversations. This is how silence turns into complicity. The danger isn't that people are being lied to. The danger is that they've stopped caring whether something is true, as long as it feels familiar. Most adults admit they rarely or never practice critical thinking in daily life, and only a small fraction feel confident evaluating the information they see online. And that's why this topic matters, because once a society loses its ability to think critically, it doesn't need to be controlled. It controls itself. But here's the question you should sit with. If everyone around you stops thinking, will you notice when you do too? Have you ever scrolled through your feed, hour after hour, feeling like your mind is moving, but going nowhere? Every ping, every headline, every trending post is designed to pull your attention. Opinions flood in from every direction, but very few of them invite you to think for yourself. Instead, they tell you what to feel, what to like, what to believe. This is information overload, and it's not harmless. Psychologists say that when the brain is constantly bombarded, it switches to autopilot, skimming for what's easy to consume instead of engaging with what's complex. You don't notice it happening. It's subtle, gradual, almost polite, but the effect is devastating. Your mind stops asking hard questions. Think about it. How often do you pause to check if the thing you just shared is even true? How often do you resist the first opinion you see? Or challenge the consensus in a group chat, knowing everyone else might disagree? Most people don't even try. Why? Because society trains you not to. From childhood, we're rewarded for agreeing, for following instructions, for staying on script. Later, online, the pressure doesn't ease. Likes, shares, and retweets become measures of approval. Fear of social exclusion, being called out, blocked, or mocked, keeps your thoughts carefully inside the lines. Algorithms know this. Social media doesn't just serve content randomly. It feeds you exactly what will keep you engaged, what will keep you scrolling, not what will make you think critically, not what will challenge your assumptions. Every swipe reinforces your beliefs. Every trending hashtag tells you, silently, this is normal, this is popular, this is safe. And slowly, without noticing, your mind adapts. You stop questioning, you stop digging, you stop resisting, you trade clarity for comfort. You let the herd decide what's true. It's exhausting, but there's a strange allure to it. Comfort feels easier than clarity. Being part of the group feels safer than standing alone with a question no one else wants to ask. So you scroll, you like, you share, you nod along. And while you think you're awake, you're quietly being trained to accept without thinking. This is why collective stupidity spreads faster than facts. It isn't a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of resistance. And the most disturbing part? It doesn't feel like a trap until you're already in it. Imagine a society where everyone is plugged in, constantly fed, constantly distracted. People aren't stupid, they're overloaded, they're exhausted. They're performing the motions of thinking without actually thinking. Opinions, emotions, and memes circulate faster than reflection. And if you hesitate to share the popular view, if you pause to analyze instead of react, you feel the pressure of isolation. So what do? Do we scroll endlessly, letting the herd define reality? Or do we fight the autopilot, forcing our brains to slow down, question, and resist? When critical thinking fades, the effects aren't abstract. They touch every aspect of adult life. Ideas aren't debated, they're adopted. Opinions aren't tested, they're echoed. And the consequences are subtle but relentless. In workplaces, the price is measured in stifled innovation and wasted potential. Employees repeat strategies that work not because they're optimal, but because questioning them risks social friction or professional marginalization. Meetings become exercises in compliance, not creativity. The smartest ideas are left unspoken while the loudest or safest shape outcomes. In media and public discourse, complexity is punished. Nuance disappears, replaced by headlines that demand instant reaction. Stories are framed to generate outrage, clicks or likes, not understanding. As people chase virality and affirmation, they stop verifying, they stop resisting, and as a result, false narratives spread faster than truth. Not because the truth is weak, but because the herd moves uncritically. Even personal relationships aren't immune. Conversations shrink to comfort zones, avoiding disagreement at all costs. People hesitate to speak honestly for fear of ridicule or rejection. Safe cliches replace meaningful dialogue. The collective pressure to conform teaches the subtle lesson: thinking independently is socially costly. And here's the most insidious part. No one feels manipulated. There's no dictator, no overt coercion. The herd moves itself. Each act of silence, each unchallenged assumption reinforces the cycle. Misinformation spreads not because people are gullible, but because resisting requires courage, and social courage is expensive. This phenomenon isn't a sudden collapse. It's a slow erosion. Decisions lose depth. Public discourse loses integrity. Communities feel united, yet they move forward without understanding. They appear cohesive, yet they are hollowed by unexamined beliefs. The danger isn't simply that people accept falsehoods. The danger is that they stop caring whether ideas are true at all, as long as they're familiar, comfortable, or socially approved. Consensus becomes a shield, and conformity a survival strategy. Collective stupidity in adulthood is the quiet replication of shallow thought patterns. It's not a matter of intelligence, it's a matter of social pressure, convenience, and fear. People compromise their reasoning without realizing it, trading insight for acceptance, clarity for comfort. The question becomes personal. How many decisions, how many conversations, how much of your life has been shaped by the herd? Every nod, every unchallenged opinion, every unspoken doubt adds to the weight of collective compliance. The cost of silence is more than missed opportunity, it's complicity. And the more people comply without thinking, the faster society moves in a direction dictated not by reason, but by the easiest path, the loudest voice, and the safest choice. This is the world that emerges when critical thinking becomes optional and social pressure becomes mandatory. Resistance begins quietly. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with a single choice. The decision to pause, to question, to think. In a world designed to make you scroll, nod, and repeat, independent thought is a form of rebellion. It's uncomfortable, it's risky, it's exhausting, and yet it is the only way to regain control over your own mind. Start with the simplest acts. Pause before agreeing, question before sharing, reflect before reacting. Every time you do, you chip away at the autopilot that has been trained into you since childhood. You reclaim a small piece of clarity. You resist the herd even when no one notices. This resistance scales. In conversations, don't accept easy consensus. Ask the hard questions. Seek nuance. Even in silence, your discernment matters. What you choose to consider, what you choose to challenge, what you choose to ignore, these choices define whether you're part of the herd or part of the few who think independently. Workplaces, social circles, and digital spaces may punish dissent, but the cost of silence is higher. By refusing to voice a reasoned objection, by going along with the popular narrative, you allow shallow thinking to spread unchecked. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply choosing clarity over comfort. Social media and modern media are designed to exploit automatic reactions. Algorithms reward outrage, not reflection. Virality favors emotion, not analysis. Recognize this. Step outside it. Limit exposure to the noise. Curate what you consume. Read deeply. Think critically. Don't just absorb. Interrogate. Don't just react. Understand. And remember, thinking independently is contagious. When one person dares to ask the difficult questions, others take notice. Skepticism spreads quietly, but it spreads. Subtle acts of reflection, critical dialogue, and careful analysis can ripple through groups far faster than you expect. The world around you may seem dominated by shallow thought, by repetition, by the pressure to conform, but the truth is that resistance is always possible. It starts with awareness, grows through practice, and strengthens with courage. The danger isn't just the herd, it's letting it shape you silently, unquestioned. Every choice you make, what to read, what to believe, what to speak, either reinforces the herd or chips away at it. The stakes are high. Because the longer critical thinking is optional, the more society drifts into collective stupidity. Decisions become shallow. Opinions dominate reality. Silence becomes complicity. But the moment you choose to pause, To reflect, to challenge, you reclaim a small but significant freedom, and every act of independent thought, no matter how quiet, is a rebellion against the current of conformity. The question isn't whether society will think for itself, it's whether you will think for yourself, even when the herd moves in the other direction. Society doesn't collapse with a bang. It collapses with silence. When critical thinking fades, the world doesn't notice immediately. Decisions are made without reflection, opinions spread without verification, conversations lose depth. People stop asking the hard questions, not because they can't, but because the cost of independence seems higher than the comfort of conformity. And the cost isn't abstract. It shows in every aspect of life. Flawed policies, media saturated with bias, workplaces that reward repetition over innovation, and relationships that value approval over honesty. Misinformation thrives, not because people are foolish, but because thinking independently has become inconvenient. Every time the herd moves unchecked, reality bends slightly. Beliefs solidify not on truth, but on familiarity. And the most disturbing part? Most people don't even notice. They are part of the movement, complicit in shaping a world that values comfort over clarity, conformity over courage. This isn't a distant warning. It's happening now. Right here. In the way people accept headlines as facts, nod along to popular opinions, and measure their worth by likes and shares. The herd doesn't need to control you. It has trained you to control yourself. But there is hope. The few who pause, who reflect, who dare to question. These are the people who shape the world quietly, but powerfully. Every act of independent thought, every refusal to go along blindly, creates a ripple, and ripples, over time, can become waves. Here is the ultimate truth. Thinking critically is no longer optional. It's urgent. The longer you let the herd define reality, the harder it becomes to reclaim your mind. The moment you start questioning, the moment you pause, the moment you resist, you become part of the solution. And the final thought you should carry: if everyone around you stops thinking, the only thing that saves the world is the courage of a few who refuse to follow blindly. If this perspective made you pause, made you reflect, made you question, then your mind is ready for more. Subscribe, not for entertainment, but to keep your thinking sharp and your perspective unfiltered. Because once you see how easily the herd moves, the choice to think independently becomes the most important decision you'll ever make.